Hello students, we'll continue with the last part of the Tempest Act 4 Scene 1. In the previous video, we discussed about how Caliban, Trinculo and Stefano create drunken comedy, and this comedy was purposefully introduced in the play in order to keep the masses entertained. So this is the continuation of that drunken comedy between Caliban, Stefano and Trinculo. But along with this drunken comedy, there's one important thing that is going on, which is Caliban's strong attempt to remind Stefano and Trinculo to kill Prospero. So this was the third conspiracy in the play, which Caliban is initiating, and he wants Prospero to be killed so that he's a free man. And during this process, Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo, who were drunk, were brought near Prospero's cell, near a mud pool, and they were in the mud pool. They were brought here by Ariel with his music, melodious music that had drawn these characters near Prospero's cell into a mud pool where they had lost their bottles of wine, and they could now see the frippery, which means the shiny, glistering clothing that was hung there by Ariel in order to use it as bait for these conspirators. So we have seen Trinculo, Caliban, and Stefano discussing that they had lost their bottles of wine in that pool, and Trinculo had just spotted those clothes near Prospero's cell. So Trinculo was about to go and pick those clothes up, and Caliban was warning him that not to touch these clothes, because Caliban was aware that these clothes were merely used as bait or was there to trick them in order to punish them. So in the previous video, we had stopped at a point where Trinculo was about to go and touch those garments, put on those garments, and Caliban says, let it alone, these are trash. The garments are not actually fine clothing, it's trash. And Trinculo was not ready to believe it. Okay, he took the robe off from the tree and was trying to put it on. And then we have again Caliban and Stefano, who are going to be here talking about these garments. So it starts with Caliban, who says that the dropsy drowned this fool. Dropsy refers to a disease. Okay, this disease was usually characterized by excessive accumulation of fluid in the body, which caused the body to swell. And one of the reactions of this disease was that people had an excessive desire to hoard things. So here, Caliban calls Trinculo a fool who is affected by this disease called dropsy, okay, because he has a lot of fluid in his body, which refers to wine, and because of that fluid, he says he has lost his senses, and he wants to he wants to steal those garments off the tree. So he says the dropsy drowned this fool. Dropsy drowned, the fool has drowned in the disease dropsy. Dropsy, disease, drowned, he's affected, he's drowned in this disease. The fool refers to Trinculo. What do you mean to dote thus on such language? Why are you trying to dote on such luggage? Okay, dote, love, fall in love, be attracted to. Why are you attracted to this luggage? Luggage refers to all the clothes that were hanging on the clothes line near Prospero's cell. So he says, why are you attracted to this luggage, these clothes? Let it alone, leave it, let it alone, and do the murder first. First, commit the murder. If he awake, he refers to Prospero, if he is awake, from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches. He will punish us, he will inflict pain by filling our skins from toe to crown, from head to toe. He will fill us with pain, with pinches, with pain of the pinches, if he wakes up and finds us here. Make us say strange stuff. He will turn us into strange stuff, maybe into deformed creatures. So leave the clothes aside and let's commit the murder now. This is what Caliban is reminding Trinculo, who was diverted, who was attracted to the clothes that were put in front of him. So Stefano says, be quiet, monster. Stefano is on Trinculo's side right now, and he too wants to explore these clothes. He says, be quiet, monster. Mistress line, is not this my jerkin? So the line of clothes, the line on which the clothes were hanging, he addresses that line, he calls that line mistress line, personifies that line as miss, mistress, miss as a woman. Miss line, he says, mistress line, is not this my jerkin? Jerkin, jacket. Isn't this my jacket? So he looks at one jacket that was lying, that was hanging on the clothes line, and he talks to the line. See, they were all drunk here. So this is again a part of drunken comedy. He says, mistress line, he addresses, calls that line. He says, miss line, is that jacket not mine? And he is trying to take that jacket, jerkin, down the line. Okay. Now is this jerkin under the line now? So this jerkin refers to the jacket. He's just picked the jacket off from the line and he says, now this is under the line. Now I've pulled it under the line. It's out from the line. There are two meanings of under the line. Under the line phrase referred to the time when sailors went under the line, which means the line refers to the equator. Okay, so going under the line means going south of equator. So remember, the play here hints at the allusion of the time where explorations were happening all across England and they were exploring colonies around the world. So English sailors would go to different parts of the world in order to explore, right? So this play was written at the time when there were explorations going on around the world by the English. So under the line phrase comes from the time when sailors go south of equator, under the line meaning under the equator, which means that the temperature there, the climate there was hot for English people. Okay, and sailors who would go under the line south of the equator could lose their hair from a disease called scurvy because of lack of fresh food when they were on their long voyage. Okay, so under the line phrase comes from the vocabulary, comes from the nautical terms, yes, going below the equator, under the line. So he says, now this jacket is under the line. So basically, line here is used as a pun. The first meaning of line is very clear, the clothes line on which the clothes were hanging. Second line here refers to equator because he uses the phrase under the line. So now that the jacket is brought under the line, under the clothes line, it's going to be a bald jacket. It's going to lose all its fur. Okay. Jerkin, you are like to lose your hair and prove a bald jerkin. Now he's talking to the jacket. See, they are in an excessive drunken state, and that's why he's been talking to the line, he's talking to the jerkin, the jacket, and he says that now that I've pulled you down the line, you're going to lose all your fur, all your hair, and you're going to become like a bald jerkin without hair, without fur. Okay, there is no meaning as such to all these talks. It's mere drunken comedy. Trinculo says, do. He says, yes, put on that jacket. He's cheering him. Do that, put on that jacket. We steal by line and level. Ain't like your grace. We are going to steal these clothes by line and level. Again, the pun on the word line. There are two meanings of the word line and level here. First, line and level refers to the line and level meaning rules and designation. Stefano, who is supposedly going to be the king of the island, has got the rule, is designated to steal first, goes first and steals because he is the highest authority. So by line and level, by rules and designation. After Stefano, Trinculo can steal and then Caliban can steal. So Stefano says, let us steal by line and level. One, by rules and designation. Second meaning of line and level means line that is used by sailors, which is called plumb line. Okay, that's a tool which is used by sailors to measure the depth of water. Okay, and level is a tool used by carpenters called as carpenter's level, which is like a measuring level, a tool that is used to measure. Okay, so two meanings of line and level. One, by rules and designation. Second, by line and level refers to by tools so that we can steal exactly, properly, okay, in proportion. So again, example of drunken comedy. Also, this is an example of witty word play because they are punning on the word line. Remember, Trinculo was the court jester. So talking with puns, using witty puns, is something that comes to him naturally, because he's created, he's the jester, and he is often using these jokes and wordplay and puns in his sport, and that's why he's still doing it in a drunken state. So he says, let's steal by line and level. Ain't like your grace, isn't it your grace? Ain't like, if it pleases you, your grace, referring to Stefano, who I said was supposedly going to be the king of the island. Okay, so they have seen the clothes, they are about to steal it. Stefano says, I thank thee for that jest. Jest means joke. He likes what Trinculo said about line and level. So he says, I thank thee for that jest, for that joke. Then he takes off a garment from the line, hands it to Trinculo. Stefano takes it from the line and he throws it on Trinculo. Stefano's taken a jacket for himself, picks up another garment and gives it away to Trinculo. He said, here's a garment for it, because you cracked a good joke on line and level. Here I gift you a garment. Wit shall not go unrewarded. Any witty remark shall never go unrewarded. Wit shall never go unrewarded. Because you have used a witty remark, you will be rewarded for it. While I am king of this country, of this island, he refers to this island as country. Again, in his drunken state, he has assumed that he's going to be the king of this island, and he's rewarding his courtiers. Steal by line and level. He's repeating that phrase used by Trinculo. He says, steal by line and level is an excellent pass of pate, is an excellent witty phrase. Pass of pate, witty phrase, a good pun. There's a garment for it. Here you are rewarded with a garment for that phrase. So Trinculo says, monster, come, put some lime on your fingers and away the rest, away with the rest. Lime refers to bird lime, which is a sticky substance like glue, like gum. Okay, it was said that it was a popular phrase which said that thieves had that sticky substance on their fingers, so they could quickly catch all the quickly steal all the treasures. Okay, hunters use this bud lime, especially they would put it on trees, so that when birds would sit on the branches of the trees, they would, because of the sticky substance, it would be difficult for them to get out of it, get over it. So at that time, hunters would hunt the birds. So it was known as bird lime, which is a sticky substance. So Trinculo says, let's put on some bird lime on our fingers and away with the rest. Rest refers to garments. Away with the rest of garments. With the bird lime on our fingers, we will steal all the garments and get away. Okay. So Caliban says, I will have none of it, none on it. So he is clear that he's not even going to touch these garments, because he knows that this could be Prospero's trick. We shall lose our time. He's insisting them that we will lose our time. Just leave it. Let's move from here and all be turned to barnacles. Barnacles, shellfish. So Prospero will punish us, will turn us into barnacles or into apes if we are here, if we don't kill him in time. With foreheads villainous low. He'll turn us into apes, like apes, with our foreheads disproportionate. He will create us into deformed monsters. Caliban already is one, but he says, Stefano and Trinculo, he will punish you into being deformed creatures with foreheads villainous low, foreheads that are disproportionate. So their body will become disproportionate. They'll become like apes or barnacles, like shellfish, because of Prospero's magic and punishment, if they do not leave immediately and kill Prospero. So see, Caliban again and again reminds these two of Prospero's power and magic and his power of punishment. Okay, but Stefano and Trinculo do not pay heed to it, since they are attracted by the garments that they have seen near the cell. So Stefano over here does not believe what Caliban says. He says, be you quiet, monster. He's asking Stefano to be quiet, and he says, monster, lay to your fingers. Lay to your fingers refers to use your fingers to pick those garments. Lay to your fingers, get working, use your fingers, help to bear this away. This refers to garments. Help me and Trinculo to bear this, to bring these garments away where my hogshead of wine is. Hogshead of wine is. So let's pick these garments away and put it where I've left my hogshead of wine, hogshead barrel. So remember, he had put his barrel of wine near the shore. There was a cave near the shore where he had put his barrel of wine in hiding. So he said, let's take these garments and put it in that same cave where my barrel of wine is, or I'll turn you out of my kingdom. I'll throw you out of my kingdom. He's telling this to Caliban, that help me pick these garments. We'll go and put it near the in the cave where my barrel of wine is. If you don't follow me, I will turn you out of my kingdom. Go to, carry this. Go to refers to stop doubting, stop being fearful, stop being scared. Okay, carry these garments, carry these clothes, and let us leave. Uh, go to the cave. Trinculo says, and this, he had another garment, so he throws it on Caliban and he says, pick this also. Stephano, I and this, yes, and this too. So they are throwing the garments on Caliban. They want Caliban to carry all these garments and leave it in the cave so that they can hide it. And while this was going on, suddenly a noise of hunters heard. Hunters heard meaning the ferocious dogs, the hounds. Okay, dogs that are violent and dogs that can hunt. Okay, so say they suddenly hear noise of hunters heard a group of entered diverse spirits. These are all dogs are all spirits, aerial spirits that have now taken form and shape of dogs and hounds, hunting them about. So now they are here to hunt on Stephano, Trinculo, and Caliban. So these spirits are in form of dogs and hounds. Again, we know it is because of Prospero's magic. So these spirits, dogs and hounds, come behind Stephano, Trinculo, and Caliban. Okay, and Prospero and Ariel are setting them on. They are cheering them on. They are leading the hounds. They are leading the dogs, to go behind, to run behind, chase Trinculo, Stephano, and Caliban. This is a form of punishment. Prospero says, hey, Mountain, hey. Mountain is the name of one of those dogs. He says, yes, go on, Mountain, go on. Go behind these men. Ariel says, Silver, there it goes, Silver. Silver is another name of the dog. Yes, the hound. So he says, Silver, Mountain, go behind, chase these men. Okay, which men? Caliban, Stephano, and Trinculo. So Prospero, Fury, Fury, there. Fury again is the name of the hound. He says, Fury, Fury, there. Tyrant, there. He's like a tyrant. Tyrant is another name. He says, go there, behind these men. So Stephano, Caliban, and Trinculo were running for their lives, and behind them were Mountain, Silver, Fury, and Tyrant, these hounds, these dogs that were set free, set loose by Prospero. These dogs and hounds were basically spirits in form of hounds. So these are the typical names of ferocious dogs and hounds that are running behind, chasing these men. So you can imagine the comedy that is created on stage right now. Caliban, Stephano, and Trinculo are driven out by these dogs, ferocious looking, violent hounds who are set behind them by Prospero and Ariel. Go charge my goblins that they grind their joints. Goblins, again, we have discussed this earlier. Goblins were these spiky creatures. So he's now setting the goblins also behind these men to grind their joints, to inflict pain in their joints, in their muscles, with dry convulsions like epilepsy. Dry convulsions, so these men are supposed to be thirsty, dehydrated, and convulsions, meaning epileptic fits. So they're punishing them with hounds behind them, with dry convulsions, and with goblins to shorten up their sinews, to crack to cause pain in their muscles, sinews muscles, with aged cramps, with cramps that old age people get. With such cramps, he's going to punish these people, the conspirators, Caliban, Stephano, and Trinculo, with aged cramps, and more pinch spotted make them than pard or cat of the mountain. So first, the hounds are going to bite them, chase them. Goblins are going to pinch them, pierce them so much so that their joints will ache and pain. with dry convulsions. They will get epileptic fits with dehydrated convulsions, shorten up their sinews, their muscles will shorten up, will cause pain. Okay, sinews meaning muscles, shorten up meaning cause pain, with age cramps, pain that is like the cramps that old people get, age cramps, and their skin is going to be pinch spotted. Every part of their skin is going to be as if it's dotted, with pain, like pard means leopard, as if like the skin of a leopard, or cat of the mountain, a wild cat. So if you see the skin of the leopard, it's spotted. So Prospero says that these conspirators, their skin will be spotted like leopards. And how spotted? With pain, with pinches, with piercings. So this is the form of punishment. What form of punishment? Their muscles will be in pain. They will be causing them aches and pains, with dry convulsions, with goblins that will grind their joints, will cause them pains, and their skin is going to be like similar to leopards and cat of mountain, with piercing all across their skin. Okay, so you can see Prospero is in form of a cruel master here, who is going to punish his traitors with utmost cruelty, causing them pain because they had conspired to kill Prospero. Ariel says, "Hark, they roar." So they are roaring in pain because these dogs and hounds are behind them. Hark, they are yelling and roaring in pain. Who? Stefano, Trinculo, and Caliban. And Prospero says, "Let them be hunted soundly, thoroughly. So let these dogs hunt them thoroughly. At this hour, lie at my mercy all mine enemies." Now, this is one of the most important lines in this play, in this act. Please underline it, mark it. You can quote it in your answers. At this hour, all the conspirators, all Prospero's enemies are at his mercy. So it's not just Stefano, Caliban, and Trinculo who are punished at this hour, but he also refers to Alonso, Sebastian, and Antonio, who were left in a state of shock after the banquet scene. So all the enemies, Prospero's enemies, are now under Prospero's mercy and power. This presents Prospero as a most powerful character in the play. With his magic and power, he has the ability to put all his enemies and conspirators under his mercy. Yes, so Prospero can do what he pleases with his enemies at this moment, right now, with his power, with his magic. So we can also see him in a very boastful mood, where he says, "At this hour, lie at my mercy all mine enemies," referring to all his enemies, yes, including Antonio, Sebastian, and Alonso. "Shortly shall all my labors end," very quickly, all my labor, my hard work that I've put in to punish my conspirators will end. So this is another hint that he's going to stop the magic right now, very briefly, very shortly. He's going to put an end to his magic. "And thou shall have the air at freedom." Now he's talking to Ariel. Very quickly, you are going to be free. You will have the air at freedom. You will breathe freely, because you will have accomplished all my tasks. For a little while, follow me and do me service." So this is probably the end of Ariel's service towards Prospero, and he's going to free him after all the tasks are accomplished. So this is the end of this scene. Okay, and we need to remember that all these characters exit the stage at this moment, because they're going to soon enter for Act 5. Dramatically, when this play have been performed, this could have probably brought an interval, because all the characters exit the stage. There would be a small gap, small interval, and then Act 5 would take place. Okay, so remember, Prospero's enemies are at his mercy at this moment. And we can see here how cruelly he's punishing Caliban, Trinculo, and Stefano, right? This is the end of Act 4, Scene 1, where we have seen Prospero's magic at its peak with the mask. Again, Prospero's magic, how he's punishing his conspirators. Okay, so the theme of revenge and forgiveness is also going to be an important part of this act. Okay, so with this we come towards the end of Act 4, Scene 1. Thank you, students.